The next gentleman I'd like to introduce is Jim Smith. Jim Smith is the owner of Golden Real Estate. And I say the word, but Golden Real Estate is different than any other real estate company that you will ever engage with. This real estate company is net zero at their operations in their business and also at his home, net zero. When you go to get an appointment with Jim Smith at Golden Real Estate, he gladly drives you in his Chevy Volt, or he gives you the option to take the keys of his Tesla to drive to the property that you would choose to review to purchase. Educating people not only about homes that are net zero, but also how to get to and from in Tesla cars. Jim is a vital part of the Golden community in so much that he has organized the Walk of Solar Homes. And one of his great inspirations is Steve Stevens. And the way I met Jim and doing an interview with him earlier this year was I was at Steve's house. We were probably, I think, 6 or 7 hours into the process. And Steve had just cooked some apple strudel in his solar oven out on the driveway. And Jim showed up because he kind of knows this is the calling card around 6 o'clock for something good to eat before dinner. Anyways, I'd like to introduce Jim Smith with Golden Real Estate.
Well, thank you. I can't say I'm unaccustomed to public speaking because I've done a lot in my life, but this is the first time I've really spoken at an organization like this. I'm primarily a journalist, and this piece you see on the screen behind me is a one-page article, a handout that's on that countertop there. And so I will be giving a PowerPoint presentation on this theme about how the gasoline-powered automobile is obsolete. We just need to realize it, promote it, and somehow move on that path of getting the public to realize it. So I have always been committed to sustainability. In fact, our real estate signs, the for sale signs that are in the that are in people's yards when they list their homes with us, has a slogan on it. Most real estate signs just say for sale or something, but we actually have a value statement on our for sale signs, and the value statement is promoting and modeling environmental responsibility. So that's been a commitment of mine from the beginning. It's why my office is a net zero office, except for gas. We super insulated our building, but we still spend about $50 a month on heating the place. It's a freestanding office building. And but we have 10 kilowatts of photovoltaic, and we have an electric vehicle charging station that's free to the public, and 3 more, one of them for Tesla, 2 of them level 2 charging stations being installed next weekend. So we will be offering that free to the public. If you are in Golden on South Golden Road and need a charge, feel free to drop by. So let's see, this is what I use, right? Okay. I saw this quote when I was looking online from the Union of Concerned Scientists. Our cars and trucks are a major cause of global warming. It's about 30%, I've been told, of greenhouse gases are generated from transportation. United States, we're talking United States statistics. Collectively, they account for nearly 1/5 of all U.S. emissions, emitting around 24 pounds of carbon dioxide per gallon of gas. I thought that was interesting because a gallon of gas only weighs 8 pounds. How do we create 24 pounds of carbon dioxide? I never quite understood how you measure pounds of a gas and other global warming gases. About 5 pounds comes from creating and delivering that gasoline to you, and the other 19 from burning it. I thought that was really interesting. Yet, what the important thing for the public to realize is that gasoline engines, ICEs, internal combustion engines, as a form of propulsion for an automobile is inherently inefficient. Only 20% of the power in that gasoline goes to propelling the vehicle. And here's a little chart that I saw from www.fueleconomy.gov that they say 14 to 20% of of the power from the gasoline goes into moving the car, moving the wheels. And that's really just astoundingly inefficient. And the heat that it creates is your example of that inefficiency, because heat, I went to MIT and I didn't major in science or engineering, I majored in humanities, but I loved getting my humanities education at MIT because we all need to understand such concepts as conservation of energy. And you look at the heat that's generated by my wife's eight-cylinder Lexus and how it heats up the garage, which I then takes energy to cool. And of course, it's just ridiculous how inefficient a gasoline engine is. Now, this is where it really gets interesting, is going downhill. I thought it would be very interesting to ask my Tesla to tell me how many kilowatts of power I netted from just going from the top of the Genesee exit on I-70 to my office on South Golden Road in Golden. And this is what I found. During that 8.9 miles, I generated 1.5 kilowatt hours of electricity, which went into my battery. And that would take me another 5 miles. Meanwhile, any cars that were next to me were probably burning a quart of gasoline to go down that hill. And imagine how much diesel fuel a tractor trailer burned going down Mount Vernon Canyon on I-70, and how much power it could generate. Because in school you learn about potential energy. Going down 1,000 feet with a 5,000-pound vehicle, you've got a lot of potential energy that can be translated, but you need to capture it. Well, with an automobile or a tractor trailer, you're burning energy, and of course they go into low gear, so they burn more on the trucks. And so I was able to go another 5 miles on that 1.5 kilowatt hour, during which those same vehicles next to me, cars I'm talking about, would have burned another quart of gasoline. So just inherently more efficient. Hybrid electric cars are somewhat more efficient. And here's what the fueleconomy.gov showed, that they're 27 to 38% efficient. But one nice thing, of course, and I love this in my hybrid Lexus when I had one before I got my Chevy Volt, was that when you have no idling losses, because the motor shuts off when you're at a stop sign. Electric vehicles are, and this is now from fueleconomy.gov, electric vehicles are energy efficient. Here they say electric vehicles convert about 60% of their electrical energy to power the wheels, to propel the vehicle, compared to 17 to 21% for gas-powered vehicles. They're environmentally friendly. I think we understand that. Performance benefits, boy, I love being at a red light in my Tesla next to a Corvette or a BMW or something, because I'm 100 yards down the highway while they're still crossing the intersection. I love showing off to them. And recently, one of my clients is the president of the Corvette Club of Colorado. And our office on South Golden Road is right in the midst of what's called the Super Cruise. Anyone heard of the Super Cruise in Golden? These people bring their classic cars there and park them in our lot. So I let, and all along the street, maybe 400 classic cars and homemade cars and all kinds of cars, some of them not really street legal, and thousands of people with lawn chairs on the side of the road. So I let this client of mine, after we closed on his house, not that that was the requirement, have his Corvette club own my parking lot. And I had the opportunity, so my parking lot had like 18 Corvettes and one Tesla in it. And so I gave rides in my Tesla to these Corvette owners. And boy, all of them want a Tesla now. So it was really fun. And of course, electricity is a domestic energy source, but one thing I like to tell people is they have not invented, and I hope they never do, invent panels you can put on your roof that generate gasoline. You know, electricity is the only energy that you and I can create at home. And what I like is the concept that I'm living out, which is that not only am I generating with my solar panels all the electricity I need for my home and my office, I have two 10-kilowatt systems, but that I'm generating enough electricity for my automobiles. People, it's not something that the industry is promoting. I would like to see the companies like Solar City really promote the fact that, no problem, you can reduce your electrical bill to the cost of being connected to the grid. And how about this? If you have an electric car, you won't pay anything for fuel. It's not like you'll pay cheaper, you'll pay nothing. Okay, so gasoline-powered cars will only be obsolete when electric vehicles are practical because people think it's not practical yet. However, they are practical now. As a second car, obviously they're practical, and there's some examples of cars that with limited ranges that that are great commuting cars. But there are several cars that can be your primary car. My Chevy Volt could definitely be a primary car because with the engine, the ability to go when the battery runs low to keep going, just getting about 30 miles to a gallon, generating electricity. But the Tesla Model S with a range of 265, the new dual engine one has a range of 295. That's really all you need for day-to-day use, and these superchargers, I've used them every 50 miles or so on the interstates, makes it even as good as your only car if you want to go to California or New York. Now, they're affordable now. People say, well, we got to get the price down, but if you're an early adopter and you buy one now, the prices on the right are what you can obtain these cars for. How many cars can you get for around $20,000? And I compare the Chevy Volt to a Camry. We owned a Camry hybrid. Great car. I don't see any compromise in size or capacity or anything in my Chevy Volt, and get it for $20,000 after the tax credits. And even the neat thing is that, it'd be nice if they were based on the price of the car, but unfortunately the same $13,500 was what I get from my Tesla. Didn't bring it down as much as it could have. So anyway, if you're an early, but act now, as they say, because these credits go away in 2016, I think, is it? And you've got to buy these cars now, so people should be early adopters. Now, the costing less to operate obviously is the key thing. Electricity, even if you buy it, which I don't, it's 4 cents a mile, roughly, but 0 to 4 cents for electric cars. Gasoline cars, if it's 20 miles per gallon and $4 a gallon, which it used to be and will be again, that's 20 cents a mile. But add 50% to that for maintenance, all those maintenance costs. Negligible in an electric car. I asked Tesla what the annual maintenance is, and they say rotate the tires. Well, I've had new tires before that. But, and they check the fluids in the battery because the battery is cooled with fluids. That's the yearly maintenance on a Tesla. Don't invest in auto repair shops. Here from autos.com, I got the 10 most common auto repairs, and of course brake jobs, but EV brakes last much longer with regenerative braking. In the Tesla, the regen is so severe that basically it slows you down at the rate that you'd slow down at a normal red light or a normal stop sign. So panic stops, you got great all-wheel disc brakes, but I hardly ever use them. I figure my first brake job in the Tesla will be after 250,000 miles. Then the Chevy Volt, which also has a nice regen, but not as severe as the Tesla, I figured my first brake job is going to be well after 100,000 miles. Oil changes, my Volt has 45,000 miles on it. I haven't done an oil change yet because the gasoline engine has only been running for about 5,000 miles. And coolant system, yes, but it's for battery management and climate control only, and it's an electrical motor. Tires, this is the biggest expense. You're paying, if you have a full-size car, you're paying about 10 cents a mile for premium tires. And that's what I paid for. I just replaced, after 20,000 miles, replaced the tires. on my Tesla for $1,700 with premium tires, Pirelli. So yeah, that's the most expensive thing. 4 cents for electricity if you have to buy it, 10 cents per mile for tires. Yeah, you know, I know what the acceleration is. I'm going to try to be a little more reasonable now that I've paid for my first set of tires. The ignition system, well, I had to, my wife's Lexus couldn't start the other day. Well, you know, don't worry about that. In an electric vehicle, it always starts. Electrical system, it's actually less complicated, I think, in an electric vehicle. Fuel system in hybrids is an issue, but not of course in my car. There is no transmission in a Tesla. Well, there's a single gear, but it's not a transmission. You'll never have overhauls or fluid changes. Exhaust system, obvious, and air conditioning. My advice to Americans, don't buy a new car. If your 20-year-old Subaru is on its last legs, well, keep those legs turning for another 5 years, because if you don't like the many choices that are available now, and here are some of them, if that's not enough choice for you, the car you want, the truck you want, the Jeep you want, will be electric within 5 years, my prediction, because the automakers have to be making note of the performance and other advantages of the electric car, not the least of which is the reduction in complicatedness. It's just it seems to me, especially with battery prices coming down, that there's no reason that any manufacturer should continue to invest in the internal combustion engine. Now, this afternoon we'll be talking about challenges. We're being asked to come up with a challenge and do rapid prototyping to come up with how to implement or meet these challenges. And these are some that I could propose that would be good, specific, rather than having a challenge of how do we make the public realize that the gasoline-powered car is obsolete. No, these are specific, measurable things. Workplace charging as an employee benefit. How can we get that? So get solar companies to promote the oversizing of PV systems to power the family car. You can get, as you probably know if you've looked into or have a PV system, your Xcel Energy will only allow you to put in 120% of your current proven usage. By showing them the purchase contract for my Tesla and the registration of the Tesla at that address, I was able to go way beyond that, because they give you credit thanks to COSIO, which I think got the Public Utilities Commission to enforce this, to implement this. You can get oversizing of your system because you're getting a Tesla or other electric car. Discounted loan rates would be a great thing to promote. Media awareness of already affordable EVs and more manufacturer promotion of their EVs. Why is Nissan the only company that's promoting their EVs? I don't get it. They're doing a great job. I love it. And convince utilities to institute lower off-peak rates. Indiana, I've had a blog post this week about Indiana. Their overnight rates down to 2.3 cents per kilowatt hour. And of course, with all these electric cars, the Volt and the Tesla, I know, I don't have any other, but I think it's true with the Leaf and others, you can program it to start charging at midnight or some other time instead of just plugging it in when you get home. And what we're going to see soon is the vehicle-to-home charging ability, so that when you have a power failure, you can tap the stored power in your electric car to run your refrigerator until the power comes back on or whatever. And that would be really cool, because then you could stock up on that 2.3 cent per kilowatt hour energy and then use it during the day, right? Oh, this I love. Get Tesla to create a police car. I can't think of a better police car than the Model S or the Model X. They have great storage. You know, you got a trunk in the front and storage in the back. Fabulous police car. But police agencies won't buy them unless they make one that's designed for the police. And then in Copenhagen and Amsterdam at the airports, they have Teslas as cabs. Great exposure to the general public to ride in a Tesla cab. And that would help to improve it. So that's it. Oh, Tesla EVs make great fleet purchases. One of my arguments for it as a police car is you wouldn't have to buy 20% more cars because you've got to have them out of service for a day for an oil change, a transmission, this, that, and the other thing. There's no downtime in a Tesla. You could buy 10 cars and have a 10-car fleet every day. That's it. Did I run over? Oh, and I'm sorry, there was one other thing.
Oh, you have something else?
How do I get out of this? Back to, there was one other thing here I wanted to show you. It'll only take a moment.
No worries.
We're on Chrome, aren't we? So Chrome up here. Something else here. This bookmark I made. I thought this was fascinating. This is a great blog to subscribe to, and this was interesting. One investor, Ron Barron, I'd never heard of him, said all of us will likely be Tesla customers in 25 years, and it's really, if you want to read that to yourself, I think that really says a lot. And it's why I own so much Tesla stock.